time is our most precious asset. It's the one resource we have that's both finite and irreplaceable. You can earn more money, buy more things, or even gain new skills, but time is the only thing that keeps moving forward, slipping through our fingers moment by moment. Once a second is gone, it's gone forever, and no amount of effort, influence, or luck can bring it back. Imagine you had a bank account that deposited a fixed amount every day, with one condition: you had to spend it all by midnight. You couldn't save it, transfer it, or carry it over to the next day. That's exactly how time works. We are given 86,400 seconds every day, every single one of them an opportunity, a chance to invest in our dreams, to connect with those we love, to grow and become better versions of ourselves. Yet, how often do we allow these precious seconds to slip by without even noticing? How many of us let days, weeks, or even years pass without putting our time towards something meaningful, something that moves us closer to our goals or strengthens our relationships? We tell ourselves we'll get to it later, that there will be more time, more chances, but that's not guaranteed. The clock doesn't stop for anyone. Time is an equalizer. It doesn't matter if you're a billionaire or just starting out. We all have the same 24 hours each day. It's how we use those hours that sets people apart. Some invest every minute like it's gold, understanding that every second spent with purpose compounds over time, building a life of achievement and meaning. Others let time drift by, putting off their dreams, allowing distractions to fill their days, and at the end of it, they're left wondering where it all went. Every moment offers a choice. We can let it pass by, or we can seize it and make it count. Time isn't just about productivity or achieving goals. It's also about being present, savoring the experiences that make life rich and worthwhile. Imagine what would change if we valued every hour, every minute with the respect and reverence it deserves. Imagine how much we could accomplish, how much deeper our relationships could be, how fulfilled we would feel, knowing that we didn't squander what's most precious. Saying no to distractions. In a world overflowing with information, notifications, and endless options for entertainment, distractions are more abundant than ever. And they can derail even the most focused among us. Think about it: how many times a day do we find ourselves pulled away from what truly matters by a quick glance at our phones, a few minutes scrolling through social media, or an impulsive response to yet another email? Each of these tiny interruptions may seem insignificant in the moment, but they add up, slowly chipping away at our ability to stay present, productive, and committed to our goals. Every time we allow a distraction to take over, we're essentially giving up control of our time and attention, often without even realizing it. These moments don't just disrupt our day, they dilute our focus, making it harder to re-engage with what we were working on. Studies show that even a brief distraction can have a lasting impact on our mental focus. Some research suggests it can take up to 25 minutes to fully regain focus after being interrupted. Multiply that by a few distractions an hour, and it's easy to see how an entire day can slip by with little to show for it. Distractions are seductive, and they're designed to be. Companies and platforms engineer notifications and alerts to capture our attention because our attention is valuable, more valuable than we often realize. Our time and focus are finite resources, and every moment we spend on something that doesn't serve us is a moment we lose forever. It's easy to justify small distractions, thinking it's just a quick look or I'll just check it for a second, but these small moments of compromise add up. They siphon away our mental energy, fragmenting our attention, and over time they can erode our sense of purpose. To say no to distractions isn't just about turning off notifications or ignoring messages. It's about taking a stand for what we truly value. It's about setting boundaries that protect our time and attention. When we commit to saying no to distractions, we're reclaiming control over our lives, declaring that our goals, our passions, and our growth are worth more than a fleeting moment of diversion. Every time we choose to ignore a distraction, we're building the muscle of discipline, strengthening our resolve, and reinforcing our commitment to our priorities. Saying no to distractions also means recognizing what they cost us on a deeper level. It's not just the time lost, it's the missed opportunities for deeper focus, for engaging in meaningful work, for creating moments of true connection. Define your mission and purpose. Purpose isn't just a lofty concept, it's the foundation upon which a meaningful life is built. Without purpose, our actions can feel scattered, our days can feel repetitive, and we can end up feeling like we're just going through the motions. Defining our mission gives us a sense of direction and meaning, a sense that there's something greater driving us forward. It clarifies why we're here and helps us answer one of the most important questions of all. What do I want my life to stand for? A mission isn't just about professional achievements or career goals. It's about aligning every aspect of our lives with something that resonates deeply with us. When we know our purpose, our days start to take on a different flavor. Suddenly, the work we do, the people we connect with, and the choices we make all become part of a larger vision. This clarity doesn't just provide motivation, it gives us resilience. When we encounter obstacles or challenges, a clear mission reminds us why we started in the first place and keeps us moving forward, even when the path is hard. Defining a mission also helps us prioritize. It's like having a roadmap that tells us which roads to take and which to avoid. In a world filled with infinite options and endless distractions, knowing our purpose allows us to say yes to the things that serve us and no to the things that don't. When we lack a mission, we're vulnerable to the demands and expectations of others, easily swayed by what society tells us we should want or be. But when we have a purpose, we have an anchor. We're no longer pushed around by the winds of circumstance because we know where we're headed. Finding your mission isn't always straightforward. It often requires deep introspection, a willingness to ask tough questions, and sometimes even a period of feeling lost. But it's in these moments of exploration that we discover what truly matters to us. Sometimes our purpose is revealed through our struggles, through moments of adversity that show us what we stand for and what we're willing to fight for. Other times it's uncovered through passion, those activities that light us up, that make us lose track of time, that bring us alive. These are the clues that lead us toward our mission. And defining purpose doesn't mean that every day will be perfect or that we'll always feel motivated, but it does give our lives a sense of coherence. It ties together our experiences, our choices, our setbacks, and our triumphs into a narrative that makes sense to us. With purpose, we don't just experience isolated events, we see each moment as part of a larger journey, a continuous path that shapes who we are becoming. It's this sense of continuity that allows us to feel fulfilled, knowing that every day we're taking steps towards something meaningful and impactful. Purpose is also what fuels growth. When we're clear on our mission, we become open to challenges, to learning, to becoming better, not just for ourselves, but for the impact we want to have on others. It gives us the courage to step outside of our comfort zones because we're driven by something greater than ourselves. With a strong sense of purpose, we're no longer afraid of failure. Instead, we see every setback as a stepping stone, a necessary part of the journey that ultimately brings us closer to where we're meant to be. Invest in relationships that lift you up. Relationships are a powerful force in our lives. They can elevate us to new heights or hold us back from reaching our potential. The people we surround ourselves with have a profound impact on our thoughts, our emotions, and ultimately our actions. When we invest in relationships that inspire, support, and challenge us to grow, we create an environment that nurtures our goals and fuels our growth. These connections aren't just sources of companionship, they become sources of strength, resilience, and inspiration, pushing us to be better versions of ourselves. Surrounding ourselves with positive, supportive people changes everything. They're the ones who see our potential, even when we struggle to see it ourselves. They're the friends, mentors, and loved ones who encourage us to take risks, to pursue our dreams, and to keep going when things get tough. These relationships are more than a network, they're a foundation. They remind us of our strengths, hold us accountable, and cheer us on every step of the way. And in turn, we find ourselves doing the same for them. It's a powerful cycle of mutual support that builds trust, confidence, and resilience. But building these kinds of relationships requires intention and effort. It's not just about being around people who make us feel good in the moment. It's about finding those who genuinely care about our growth and well-being, those who challenge us to think bigger and do better. True supporters don't just say what we want to hear, they say what we need to hear. They're not afraid to give us honest feedback, to point out areas where we can improve, and to hold us accountable to our highest potential. These are the people who believe in us, not because of what we've achieved, but because they see the possibilities within us. Investing in uplifting relationships also means being mindful of the energy and attitudes we bring to these connections. A healthy, empowering relationship is a two-way street. To attract and maintain supportive connections, we need to offer that same level of support in return. It's about showing up for others with sincerity, being willing to listen, to celebrate their victories, and to be a source of encouragement when they need it. When we give freely without expectation, we create a foundation of trust and mutual respect that allows the relationship to flourish. On the flip side, it's just as important to recognize and let go of relationships that drain us or hold us back. Not everyone we encounter will be aligned with our values, our vision, or our growth. Some relationships can become toxic, filled with negativity, jealousy, or unspoken expectations. While it can be challenging to step away from these connections, doing so is often necessary to make room for relationships that truly uplift us. We must prioritize the people who bring out the best in us and who respect our journey. Building and maintaining these empowering relationships also helps us stay grounded. Life will have its share of challenges, setbacks, and moments of self-doubt, but when we have people around us who believe in us, those obstacles become more manageable. They remind us of our worth, help us regain our perspective, and encourage us to keep going, even on the hardest days. Knowing we're not alone, knowing there are people who have our back, can be the difference between giving up and pushing forward. Moreover, uplifting relationships teach us invaluable lessons about ourselves. They reflect our strengths, our growth, and sometimes even our blind spots. When we invest time and energy in these connections, we gain insights that help us become more self-aware and emotionally intelligent. These relationships show us what it means to love, support, and trust others deeply. They help us cultivate empathy, gratitude, and resilience, qualities that enrich every aspect of our lives. When we choose to invest in relationships that lift us up, we're choosing to surround ourselves with people who add value to our lives. They become our partners in success and our sources of joy. They don't just celebrate our achievements, they help us through our failures, reminding us that setbacks are simply stepping stones on our journey. These connections infuse our lives with purpose and meaning, showing us that we don't have to go it alone and that true success is shared with those who walk alongside us. Act now, don't wait. Procrastination has a way of sneaking up on us, convincing us that there's always a better time to start, a perfect moment around the corner when all the conditions will align and everything will feel just right. But here's the truth. That perfect moment may never come. Waiting for ideal conditions is one of the biggest traps we fall into, and it often leads us to put off our dreams, goals, and ambitions indefinitely. The reality is time waits for no one. And every day that goes by is a day we won't get back. If we want to create a meaningful life, we need to take action now, today, in this very moment. The power of immediate action can't be underestimated. When we decide to act now, we're sending a message to ourselves that our goals and dreams matter, that they're worth the discomfort or the initial awkwardness that often comes with getting started. We're affirming that we believe in our own potential and that we're ready to start carving a path toward our vision, one small step at a time. Immediate action builds momentum, and momentum has a way of making even the biggest, most daunting goals feel achievable. It's those first steps, even if they're tiny, that start to build a foundation, helping us overcome the inertia of inaction. There's a saying that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. This isn't just a metaphor, it's a reminder that progress happens incrementally. We don't have to have everything figured out to begin, and we don't need to know exactly how the entire journey will unfold. Often, the path reveals itself only as we walk it. Waiting for complete clarity can be a form of self-sabotage, a way to avoid the vulnerability of stepping into the unknown. But when we take action, no matter how small, we're giving ourselves permission to learn, to adapt, and to grow along the way. Each step forward brings us closer to our goal, while also helping us gain the experience and insights that only come from taking action. Acting now also teaches us the importance of resilience. When we start moving toward our goals, we're bound to encounter obstacles, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But every challenge we face gives us a chance to build mental toughness and learn valuable lessons. If we waited for perfection, we'd never get to experience the growth that comes from overcoming difficulties. Every time we choose to act, even when things aren't ideal, we strengthen our ability to handle adversity and prove to ourselves that we're capable of navigating whatever comes our way. By choosing to act now, we're also seizing opportunities that might not be available later. Life is constantly changing, and what's possible today might not be possible tomorrow. Every moment holds the potential for growth, for connection, for new experiences, but only if we're willing to step forward and embrace it. Sometimes the window of opportunity is open for just a brief period, and if we don't move, it closes, often leaving us with regret and wondering about what could have been. Acting now is a way of honoring the present moment and making the most of what's available to us right now. Taking action, especially when we feel uncertain, isn't easy. It requires courage, a willingness to risk failure, and the humility to accept that we might stumble along the way. But that's the beauty of action. It's in the doing, in the learning, and in the persistence that we find our strength. The act of moving forward, even when we're unsure, builds confidence and self-trust. We start to see that we're capable of more than we realize, that we have the resilience to keep going, and that every small victory brings us closer to our larger goals. One of the greatest barriers to action is overthinking. We can get so caught up in analyzing, planning, and considering every possible outcome that we end up stuck, paralyzed by our own thoughts. But life doesn't wait for us to feel completely ready. There's a power in taking that first leap, trusting that we'll find our footing as we go. When we act now, we cut through the noise of doubt and hesitation, focusing our energy on what we can control: our effort, our persistence, and our commitment. Action brings clarity, and with each step we take, our confidence builds, making the next step easier. There's also a sense of freedom that comes with choosing to act in the present. Instead of being weighed down by what ifs and second guessing, we're actively creating our future. Every day we wait, we give away a piece of that future to hesitation and indecision. When we decide to act, we're reclaiming our power, taking ownership of our life, and setting ourselves on a path of intentional growth and progress. When we act now, we also acknowledge the urgency of our dreams. Time is fleeting and the clock doesn't stop for anyone. We often get caught up in the idea that there's an endless supply of time to make things happen. But the truth is, every single day that we wait, we're letting a piece of our potential slip away. There's something magical about embracing the urgency of the present moment. It's not about rushing or making hasty decisions, but about recognizing that every moment is precious and that every action we take now compounds into something larger. When we commit to acting today, we shift our mindset from passivity to purposefulness, aligning our energy with our deepest desires. There's also a ripple effect that comes with taking action immediately. When we take that first step, we often inspire others to do the same. Action is contagious. When people see us making bold moves, even small ones, it motivates them to take their own steps. It's like lighting a spark. When one person takes action, it can inspire an entire community or network to do the same. The momentum we create by acting now not only propels us forward, but can create a wave of movement that lifts everyone around us. This is how real change happens, not by waiting, but by starting, by leading with courage, and by showing others what's possible. Waiting can also be a form of avoidance. Often we hesitate to act because we're afraid of failure, of making the wrong decision, or of stepping into the unknown. But inaction isn't safe, it's just the illusion of safety. The longer we delay, the more we're avoiding the challenges, the growth, and the rewards that come with taking risks. When we finally choose to act, we step into the discomfort that comes with new opportunities, and we learn that failure isn't the end, it's part of the process. It's the moments when we stumble and get back up that shape us, that help us discover our true capabilities and refine our approach. Waiting for everything to be perfect doesn't spare us from failure, it only prolongs the inevitable. But when we act now, we move through failure faster, we grow more quickly, and we become more resilient in the process. Another key benefit of acting now is that it builds a habit of discipline. Action requires commitment, and commitment builds discipline. When we make the choice to act, even when we're not feeling motivated, we teach ourselves to move beyond fleeting emotions and focus on what matters most. Discipline is the muscle we need to push through resistance, to stay focused on our vision even when it's hard or uncomfortable. By acting now, we're cultivating a mindset that prioritizes results over excuses, that values progress over perfection, and that moves us steadily toward our goals. The beauty of acting now is that it aligns us with the flow of life. Too often, we find ourselves stuck in cycles of overthinking, waiting for the right moment, or thinking that the path to success should be linear and free of obstacles. But life doesn't work like that. Life is messy, unpredictable, and full of twists and turns. When we act now, we embrace the uncertainty and chaos, understanding that the journey is rarely perfect. It's through the imperfections, the detours, and the unexpected challenges that we experience true growth. Acting now allows us to stay in motion, to ride the wave of life with intention and purpose, and to be open to the opportunities that come our way, even if they're not what we expected. In many ways, acting now is about trusting the process. It's trusting that the effort we put in today will pay off tomorrow, even if we don't see the results right away. Trust is a powerful force. When we act without waiting for guaranteed success, we practice faith in ourselves and our abilities and in the journey we're on. We learn to believe that even when we don't have all the answers, taking action is the best way to discover what's next. Every action, no matter how small, brings us closer to clarity, to alignment, and to the outcomes we're striving for. Ultimately, the key to acting now is realizing that action is the bridge between where we are and where we want to be. Every dream, every ambition, every goal requires us to take that first step. Without action, ideas remain just ideas. Without action, plans stay as plans. But when we choose to act, we transform our dreams into reality. Every decision we make today shapes our tomorrow. We can choose to wait, to hesitate, and to wonder what if, or we can choose to act and start creating the future we desire, one decision at a time. When we act now, we make things happen. In conclusion, time is the most valuable resource we have, and the opportunity to act is fleeting. We cannot afford to wait for the perfect moment or let distractions hold us back from the lives we're meant to create. By taking immediate action, we break free from the paralysis of procrastination and build the momentum needed to make our dreams a reality. We stop giving our power away to fear, uncertainty, or the belief that there's always tomorrow. The time to start is now, today, in this very moment. So I challenge you to take that first step, no matter how small. Commit to your goals, embrace the discomfort of beginning, and trust that with every action you take, you're moving closer to the life you envision. Your future is built on the decisions you make today, and it's in your hands to make those decisions count.